Siberia, 12,000 years ago. The steppe is flat and frozen in every direction. The grass is buried under 6 inches of snow. The sky is gray and low, the kind of sky that doesn't move. Somewhere across the plain, a herd of 30 woolly mammoths moves in a slow column, the calves tucked between the adults, the big bulls at the flanks. They have been walking this route for 3 days. They do this, they remember. The same corridors, the same watering grounds, generation after generation. Nothing on this continent threatens a healthy adult mammoth. Cave lions take the old, dire wolves take the stragglers, but a full herd of 30 moving together with the bulls at the edges, nothing touches that. Until now. Because cutting low across the tundra from the east at 150 miles per hour, running dark and quiet under the cloud ceiling, is a Boeing AH-64E Apache Guardian, the most advanced attack helicopter on Earth. It has no business being here, and the mammoths have no framework for what that sound means yet. But they're about to find out. Let's start with what just arrived. The AH-64E Apache Guardian is not simply a helicopter with guns attached. It is an integrated weapons platform designed to destroy armored vehicles, fortified positions, and concentrations of enemy forces in conditions that would ground almost any other aircraft. It weighs 23,000 pounds, or roughly 10,400 kilograms fully loaded. It can fly at 227 miles per hour, or 365 kilometers per hour at its top speed, and it can do that at night, in bad weather, in dust, and in temperature extremes. It is designed to be difficult to see, difficult to hear at range, and almost impossible to engage before it has already engaged you. Here is what it is carrying on this mission. 16 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles, laser-guided. Each one carries a warhead capable of penetrating over 36 inches of rolled, homogeneous steel armor. That is the armor on a main battle tank. They have a range of 5 miles, or about 8 kilometers, and they travel at 995 miles per hour. The target does not hear them coming. The M230 chain gun mounted under the nose fires 30mm rounds at 625 rounds per minute. Each round weighs nearly half a pound and travels over 2,600 feet per second. It can engage targets at 1,500 meters, or roughly a mile away. The Apache also carries 76 Hydra 70 unguided rockets in its outer pylons. Fast, cheap, and devastating in a saturation strike. Its sensor suite is where it becomes something close to supernatural for 12,000 BC. The longbow radar dome on top of the rotor can simultaneously detect and classify up to 256 targets, prioritize the 16 most critical, and transmit targeting solutions to the pilot in under a second. The TADS/PNVS forward-looking infrared system means the crew sees in complete darkness. Every mammoth in that herd is a bright white heat signature against the frozen steppe. They glow. They are labeled. They are ranged. The helicopter knows exactly how many there are, where they are, and how fast they are moving before it has crossed into visual range. The 2-man crew has seen the herd for 4 minutes before the mammoths hear anything at all. Now let's talk about what the Apache is up against. The woolly mammoth, Mammothus primigenius, is not a large elephant with extra fur. It is a product of one of the harshest environments this planet has ever produced, refined over hundreds of thousands of years into something genuinely extraordinary. A fully grown bull stood up to 11 feet tall at the shoulder, or 3.4 meters, and weighed between 13,000 and 15,000 pounds. That is 6 to 7 metric tons. The tusks on a mature bull reached up to 15 feet in length, or 4.5 meters, curved and thick, used to sweep snow from grazing patches, crack ice, and, when necessary, as weapons capable of goring a cave lion clean through. The hide was multi-layered, An outer coat of coarse guard hairs up to 36 inches long or 90 centimeters covered a dense undercoat of fine insulating wool. Under the skin was a subcutaneous fat layer up to 4 inches thick or 10 centimeters, functioning as both insulation and energy reserve. That fat layer matters here a lot. A herd of 30 moves with sophisticated social intelligence. They communicate through infrasound, low-frequency rumbles below the range of human hearing that travel miles across open ground. When threat is detected, bulls form an outward-facing ring around females and calves instantly. This is not instinct in the simple sense. It is a learned, coordinated defensive structure. Predators that tested this formation did not survive. The mammoth absorbed the lesson and encoded it in behavior. They also have one trait that makes this scenario stranger than it first appears. They are not running animals. When threatened, the mammoth's first response is to stand its ground and make itself more dangerous, not less. A 14,000-pound animal that doesn't flee is a different tactical problem than one that does. The Apache crew completes its first pass, 2 miles out. The herd is in tight formation on the open plain, no cover within 3 miles in any direction. The pilot locks the longbow on the largest thermal signature, the lead bull, and holds. Then the pilot does something that seems counterintuitive. He waits. He circles at 2 miles, watching on FLIR, because the pilot has a decision to make that is not about capability. Capability is settled. The Apache can destroy this herd in under 4 minutes. 16 Hellfires, the chain gun, the hydro rockets. Against animals with no evasive capability, no countermeasures, no armor beyond biology, the math is straightforward. This is not a contest, it is an execution. Unless something changes. What changes is the herd's response. The mammoths hear the helicopter at roughly 800 meters, or half a mile. They don't run. They stop. The bulls rotate outward, tusks forward, forming the ring. The calves disappear into the center. The whole formation becomes a dense biological mass, 30 animals pressed together, moving as a unit. This is actually a problem, not for the Apache's weapons, for the pilot's mission profile. A tight formation means hellfire impacts create chain reaction panics. Animals scatter in unpredictable vectors at 15 miles per hour in multiple directions across open ground. In a real hunt scenario, a broken herd is much harder to contain than one that's stationary. The pilot needs to think about this like a wrangling problem, not a combat problem. The first shot is not a Hellfire. It is a single Hydra 70 rocket, fired wide, not at the herd, 20 meters to the right of the formation. The explosion hits open snow. The effect is immediate. The formation breaks, not in random panic, but in a directed stampede. The mammoths move as a group, northward, away from the sound. The bulls haven't dropped their perimeter. They are running in formation, calves still centered. Even in full flight, the social structure holds.
The Apache pivots and pursues at 150 miles per hour. It catches the herd in 11 seconds. This is where the mission's reality becomes clear. The crew selects the chain gun, 30mm rounds at 625 per minute. The first burst is a targeting pass. 2 rounds connect with the hind quarters of the trailing bull. The animal stumbles. It does not fall. A 14,000-pound animal with 4 inches of subcutaneous fat and dense muscle mass absorbs 30mm hits differently than a vehicle. The rounds penetrate, cause tissue damage and pain. They do not drop him. He turns. A 7-ton bull mammoth turns and faces the source of the attack. The tusks go forward. He charges it. He charges a helicopter. This is not stupidity. This is what mammoths do. This is what worked for 1,000,000 years. It doesn't work now, but it is extraordinary to watch. The Apache climbs 20 feet, and the bull passes beneath it at full speed, tusks raking empty air. The downwash from the rotors hits the animal and staggers it. The crew swings around. The second chain gun burst is precise, aimed at the skull. 3 rounds connect behind the ear, the thinnest section of cranial bone on the animal. The bull goes down. The rest of the herd doesn't stop. They don't circle back. The defensive formation has a limit. When the threat cannot be engaged, even mammoths move. The Apache covers the herd in under 2 minutes, using a combination of hydro rockets for direction control and the chain gun for targeted takedowns. The herd is moving at 15 miles per hour. The Apache is moving at 150. The engagement is entirely one-directional. 7 animals are down. The remaining 23 are scattered across a 3-mile radius, calves separated from mothers, the formation completely broken. Here is the honest assessment. Could a modern attack helicopter hunt a woolly mammoth herd? Yes, completely. There is no version of this engagement where the Apache loses. The Hellfire missiles alone could eliminate the entire herd from 5 miles away before a single animal knew it was being targeted. The FLIR system sees them perfectly. The longbow radar classifies them as individual targets automatically. The 30mm chain gun, once aimed properly at cranial anatomy, is effective even on an animal this size. But the engagement reveals something interesting about both sides. The Apache's real limitation is not the mammoth, it is time. The helicopter burns fuel at roughly 300 pounds per hour in combat. Its combat radius without refueling is around 150 miles, or 240 kilometers. Over open Siberian tundra in 12,000 BC, there is no forward operating base, no fuel depot, no resupply. The crew has a window, and when the window closes, the helicopter is a 10,000-pound piece of dead metal on the steppe. The mammoth's real advantage is not the strength or toughness, it is the social structure. The bulls bought the herd time by turning and charging, not to win, but to create enough chaos that 23 animals got clear. In a real hunt scenario, the Apache can kill efficiently, but it cannot round up, it cannot contain. The animals that scatter into broken terrain, river gullies, or tree line are gone. A herd of 30 becomes a dispersed population of 23 in under 3 minutes, and then the fuel clock is ticking. The Apache wins every direct engagement, decisively and without real risk. But it cannot finish the job completely because it was built to destroy, not to herd. 7 mammoths are dead on the frozen steppe. 23 are alive and moving. The crew marks the site, burns the last of their combat time circling, and turns southeast to find flat ground before the fuel gauge reaches critical. Below them, somewhere in the white distance, the surviving mammoths are slowing down. The infrasound calls are already going out. The herd is reassembling around the cows and calves. One of the younger bulls moves into the position the old lead bull held. They don't understand what happened, but they will avoid the sound of it for the rest of their lives, and they will pass that avoidance on. Evolution works slowly, but it starts somewhere.